it's day 2 for Vision 2030 and we are still here at the Birchwood Hotel talking all things NDP plan, and today I'm joined by Ms. Bongile Khanya, who's the Head of Operations Anglophone Southern Africa for AMSCO. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Lovely. So from a training and skills perspective, where are we in terms of training and really skilling our youth to execute the NDP plan?
All right, so I think there's a couple of challenges that we need to look at, and we need to look at when we talk about skills development, we need to take a look at a more integrated approach to what's happening. Because as the youth are coming out of school, are they really skilled, and are we training the right skills that are needed by industry? And are we providing our youth with a proper foundation for them to be able to be integrated into the workforce? So as much as we're talking about skills development and skills training, is it the right training? Have we talked about what South Africa actually needs? And we talked about what the region in itself actually needs. So I'm taking care of Southern Africa, which is within the SADC region. And what you're finding is that the skills that are required in South Africa is different from the skills that you will require, for instance, in Mozambique. So how do we share skills across borders? So it's more about regional integration and regional skilling. So for instance, in the organization that I work for, you're finding that we're taking out some South Africans to go into the rest of the continent because the continent doesn't have the capacity that's required. So what we need to look at when we're talking about skills development and developing our youth is to look beyond South Africa.
Yes.
Because some of those skill sets that the South Africans have might be actually useful in other parts of the continent. So we need to start looking outside of our borders and understanding what can we do, I think, as nations, and really look at inter-Africa trade.
What are the obstacles that may challenge or prohibit this transfer of skills and knowledge from an African, African perspective?
So some of the challenges, I think, is that we are still, I think, as African nations, looking at ourselves internally.
Yes.
So as much as we need to be addressing, as I said before, addressing the issues in terms of skills and what's needed in South Africa, but where are the opportunities for us to really look at ourselves and start to look at ourselves as Pan-African,
yes,
vis-a-vis on a national level. So I think that's where the opportunities lie, and we can really break through some of these barriers because the institutions are actually set up. The institutions are there. If you look at the history and development of Africa as a whole, we've come from Pan-Africanism, and we're now all looking internally where Africa was actually built from us being able to trade across borders, and with us being able to get our freedoms by sharing a common vision, which was the vision and growth of Africa.
Definitely. Yeah. And what is at the core of what you're going to be sharing today at the Vision 2030 Summit? What is it that you think a lot of delegates, a lot of government, a lot of civil society doesn't know about training? What is it that AMSCO is bringing that's very different?
Okay, so what AMSCO is bringing that's very different is that we're actually bringing a more practical approach to some of the developments in terms of enterprise development on the ground. And we're a private sector initiative that was started 28 years ago. So what we're bringing is a more practical approach. So as you're growing your businesses and growing your enterprises, we're bringing the management skills to be able to grow those enterprises. But what we're also then doing is we're requiring that management skill to be able to bring up local capacity at the same time. So you're now taking a two-pronged approach. So as you're growing the enterprise and you're putting in all your resources towards building up capacity of the enterprise, you're also ensuring that there's local and capacity skills training that's also going on. So it's a more practical approach. So you go from classroom training to also being able to deliver on actual results.
Yes.
Practically.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Lovely. Can we just take a picture with you for social media? It's okay. You take it? Oh.